What would you say is the best MMO ever made? The best massively multiplayer online video game? I'm going to give you a moment to think about it. Your first reaction would be, well, of course, it's World of Warcraft. It's the most played one. It's the one that generates more profit a year than, well, most other games sold that year. Like, all of them combined. Well, not all of them, but most of them combined. It had, at its peak, over 11 million players that were paying the subscription and probably millions more playing on pirated servers. But it's not World of Warcraft. Then, is it EVE Online? Because EVE Online is that which most sandbox MMOs fail at being, namely completely player-driven. And sure, it may not have the millions of players that World of Warcraft had, but it still has a constant number of a few 100,000 people playing it non-stop. But it's not EVE Online either. Is it EverQuest? Is it Ultima Online? Is it the first Neverwinter Nights game, the MMO one? Or is it MUD, the progenitor of the entire genre? And in most aspects, one of the few MMOs to actually do an MMO properly, mostly because it invented what a proper MMO should be about. But no, it's neither of those. The best MMO is a game you probably never heard of because, well, let me put it to you this way. The gaming industry is a very cutthroat environment, but what we have today is nothing compared to what the industry was a few years ago, where if you had a good product but not enough backing for it, you were doomed. People would just walk all over you, steal your ideas, and basically bury your game until it became something of a myth, something that doesn't even exist, because they don't want the public to know it exists, because if the public knew it existed, if the public actually had the chance to play it, they wouldn't play their games. They would just play your game. It's not a conspiracy. People have done this before. It's documented. Games have been buried. Games have been unpublished. Games have had their studios bought out and just ravaged so there wouldn't be any competition. Just look at what Ubisoft did to Patrice Desilets' studio. Was working on another game similar to Assassin's Creed. They bought it and then just gutted the entire project, destroyed it, and then they fired him. This stuff has been going on in the games industry for ages, since it started, since, well, Electronic Arts had a motto before: if you can't beat them, destroy them, or something like that. I'm gonna do a show about it sometime in the future when I get my facts straight. And this is what happened to the best MMO ever made. A game which, if you know who to ask, if you know how to get it, yes, you can still play it. You can still have a chance to play the best MMO ever. Even though it's been over a decade since it was released. It probably predates most MMOs that still work now, aside from maybe EverQuest and Ultima Online. It predates all the others. I still have fond feelings of the first time I played it, back in the dial-up age, booting up the old Pentium 2 at 4 PM, hearing that modem just go perk and wake up everyone in the house, just so I could play this game. I have very fond memories of creating the character for the first time because it offered you options that no other game does. Just rolling my stats took ages, well, not ages, but a long time, considering I was on dial-up and was built for every second. And then I entered that game world. Then, well, the world was never the same for me. Can you guess what that game is? Can you, right now, can you guess what that game is? Don't skip forward, no. You, right now, guess right in the comments what MMO I'm talking about. I've told you the essentials. It was released sometime between EverQuest and a decade ago. It's not as popular as it should be. It's still going. You could play it on dial-up. And also one other important factor, it is responsible for a lot of the innovation that came out of the MMO genre in the past couple of years. Some would say it even spawned its own sub-genre of games. One that's actually kind of very popular, in spite of basically no one knowing where it came from. Well, do you know what it is? Okay, I'm gonna tell you. That game is Progress Quest. An MMO that redefined what MMOs are, because it revealed what MMOs are. There are endless games where you just collect loot and experience and gold to get more loot, experience and gold from more monsters which you kill to get more experience, gold and loot in an endless, uninterruptible struggle to do absolutely nothing useful with your life. And unlike all those other games where you just have to find the enemy, click on him, press 1, then press 2, or just let the auto attack deal with it, you did nothing. Absolutely nothing. You just sat there admiring what in other games would take you a lot of time to do. The game did it for you. The game set you free. It also made the entire genre of clickers, or, well, not even clickers, I mean the AFK game genre. Yes, there's an AFK game genre where you do nothing about anything in the game. You just press start and it goes by itself. I mean, apart from Call of Duty. Yes, Call of Duty does the same thing, but I'm talking about other games that are not Call of Duty that do the same thing. And Progress Quest did that in 2002. It predicted exactly what kind of crappy gameplay loop we'd be stuck with for over a decade. At its time, it was just a parody of EverQuest. But hey, everyone kept doing the same thing over and over again, my friend, as if we're on the eve of destruction or something. Progress Quest is amazing because it's like a joke that no one got. It's like that scene in RoboCop 2 where those board members try to figure out new rules to put into RoboCop's head, and one of them just starts out saying things that are ridiculous. Like, hey, let's make him be against smoking. Let's make him try to be an example for children. He was saying that with sarcasm, but they still put them in RoboCop because they were evil. Now, I'm not saying that people that make MMOs are evil, just that, well, Bethesda used Progress Quest as an inspiration for Fallout Shelter, so make what you will of that. I mean, look a bit at what kind of game The Elder Scrolls Online is and tell me they didn't get the joke, because they obviously didn't. Or it's like 1984. It wasn't meant to be an instruction manual, and yet it's being used as one. Progress Quest has basically defined what a Korean MMO is. Now, I've told you that I've played Voice Century Online. Well, for a while that game had a botting problem where people would just go AFK and put a bot that just healed them from time to time because, fun fact, the game had an auto counter attack, meaning that if you were attacked while AFK, you would strike back and people would just stay AFK to farm creep spawns like bears in Mallorca. Well, the bots added the option to heal you, to pick up loot, and sometimes to move around to a new spawn area. Well, not long after that bot appeared, that option was added to Voice Century Online as a premium feature, for which you could pay. Again, this was a game which you could pay not to play. An MMO which, again, you could pay them to not play the game because it was crap. Utter crap. The team I loved, but the game was utter crap. And Progress Quest predicted this. It predicted this in 2002. It was a warning, and people still went through with it. They did it. You bastards! You did it! You really did it, didn't you? You blew up the entire MMO genre! Damn you all to hell. Because you didn't listen to this game. This game that still has a very simple, concise message. If this is your game loop, if this is your gameplay, if this is what your game is about, you're doing it wrong. You can still play Progress Quest right now just by going to progressquest.com and either playing it in the browser or downloading the client. The servers are still working, and if you like, you can just play offline by yourself. It even simulates the occasional other player, whereby you just execute them along with any other monster you come across, because again, this is basically Asian MMO, the how to build guide. I should know, I made a show for several years where I played most of them. A weekly show about each one of them for several years. And let me just say that Progress Quest is the closest thing we have to an actual Oracle of Delphi. Oh, and don't misunderstand me. Western MMOs are doing the exact same thing. Again, The Elder Scrolls Online, I've played it at launch and in the beta. It was the same crap. Most games are the same crap because, again, Progress Quest wasn't supposed to be an instruction manual. Yet for some reason, people still use it as one. If you enjoyed this show, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Or, if you thought it was horrible, then share it with your enemies and make them suffer. We shall be your weapon of vengeance. But if you liked what you saw, you could, I don't know, maybe donate, because basically YouTube is horrible at revenue, by using the link in the description, or just buy my book. It's a fantasy book about, well, a lot of stuff. I guarantee it won't suck, and if it does suck, you can find me here and complain about it.